whenever you want to add in a specific section, you can just click on this plus section, and now we have these columns, and essentially you can just pretty much add any column you want. So for example, let's just say I want to add in a 3-column row. I'll click on these dots right here, which will basically bring us back to these elements, and then we can just go ahead and just drag and drop. So I want a heading text. You see where the blue line is? I'll drop it in there, and I'll just put, you know, this is my title, and then I'll go back. I'll grab a text editor, which is just like smaller text, and then I'll go back, and then maybe I can just grab a button like that. And then we can rearrange this. So let's say we want this on the right side. I can just click on the title, and I can say, you know what, I want this on the right side. Also, at any time you want to style any of these modules, we have this style tab. So if I click on the style tab, now I can change the color, I can do this, I can do that. We have typography, we have a bunch of different fonts. So I think the font I use in a lot of my videos is Poppins. I just find it like really, I don't know, it's just really friendly, I guess you want to say. And then here you can change the weight of it, and you know, same thing here. So we can go ahead and say this is the best tutorial on YouTube, right? Yeah. And then under style, we can change the alignment to right, and then change the color, something like black, and then typography again. We can change that here to some, what was that? What was that? This is like a robotic, I don't even know where this, I mean, every font has a purpose, you know. I just find that Poppins is just something for, like, you know, web agencies and stuff like that. For the button itself, we can also align this. Now, when it says link, like, we can put a specific link there. So, for example, I can put my website, darylwilson.com, and if someone clicks on this button, it will then take them to this specific website. And under the settings icon, I can have it under open a new window. So that means if I click on it, they won't leave the website. It'll open up a new tab, you know, so they don't have to leave the website. So that's just, you know, some options that you might want to consider. We have an icon. So Elementor has tons of different icons that you can have. So maybe you can have this like a, you know, I think this is the WeChat, or I don't even know, WeChat or Zoom or something like that. You can have an icon next to your button, or next to your text, I meant. And then we'll go to a style, and then we can change the actual typography to kind of keep the color scheme of the actual website. Now, there's a lot of shortcuts I'm going to introduce you all, so you don't have to do everything, you know, all over again, because that can take a lot of time. But for example, we have the text color. I might want to leave that as white and change the background color to something like black. And, you know, that would probably be the end of it. And if you want to add a background to this, we can click on this little edit column, and under style, we can go to background type. We can have like a gradient color, or you want to add something to it, we can do that for each specific block. And that's how you can actually design the background. Now, what I'm going to do is, that's just a quick crash course, but we're going to go ahead and upload a block, and then we're going to work off that block instead of manually creating every single one all over again. But just to show off and brag here, I'll just show you, you know, you can delete these columns, and then duplicates, you know, there's a lot of different things that you can do with this builder. So let me just go ahead and just go back to the basics here. So I'm going to delete this section. So whenever you want to delete a section, you click on this X button. Now we have this folder right here. So click on add templates. Now we actually have a lot of pre-designed blocks and templates that we get because we purchased the Pro version. Now where it says pages, these are essentially templates that you can use. Now, you don't have to use the whole entire page. What you can do is just kind of use sections from each specific page if you want to do that. However, there's also the blocks tab, which I find that might be a little bit more suitable for people that are just kind of looking for specific blocks. So what I'll do is go over here to category, and I will find hero section. So for those noobs out there, hero just means landing page. That's it. Hero equals landing page. It's just a fancy word these designers give it just to sound more complicated. You know how it is, you know? So this one right here is called the Sound of the Future. And what I'll do is just click on insert. Okay, so now we have Sound of the Future. We have some text. Now you can see it's already structured for us. You know, everything's kind of coming into place already. We don't have to do a lot to it. We just need to make some changes to it. So looking at my demo website, let's go ahead and kind of compare and contrast how I did this. So this is a text, a text, a text, a text, a divider, and then we have a special text and a button. So let's go ahead and try to recreate this using this section here. In the description of this video, I have a link to demo images. Now those demo images are going to basically allow you to use all the images that I use on my video or my templates to help you follow along so you don't get lost. So let me go ahead and minimize this. And it is in the description, and it's going to allow you to download this zip folder. Once you open the zip folder, you will then get this folder called Elementor e-commerce images. So you can double click, and there are a lot of images that you can use on this video to help you build out your e-commerce website. So you can see I used this one right here, and there are various other ones that we're going to use, and you know, I just use these to help you follow along to make things easier so we're both on the same page. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and open this up. So go ahead and download those images, and then now let's go ahead and upload them to your website. So you see these 6 dots, click on those 6 dots, got it. And then we're going to go ahead and upload a new background because I don't want this background. So we'll click on style, and now we see image. So we can actually change this image. So I'll click on choose image, and now you can go ahead and upload all of those files that I gave you. So the folder is Elementor e-commerce images, and then you can just hold shift and just download all of them, or I'm sorry, upload them all at the same time. So there we go, and I will click on open. Now it's going to upload all the images that I gave you guys in that specific folder. So give it a few minutes here. All right, so my images have finally uploaded, and I will go ahead and upload the background.jpg image and click on insert media. Now, one thing to note, guys, is that I've already made this whole website for you all, and I will give it to you as a template, but I want to go ahead and teach you how to use the page builder, not just upload templates. So don't worry, I got your back. I have a lot of goodies for you a little bit later. So first things first, I don't want this. So let's delete this. I'll right click and click on delete. Also, if you've noticed that we have sort of a dark overlay. Now you can choose to have this on your website, but I want to get rid of the dark overlay. So on the bottom right here where it says background overlay, I'll click on that. And for the color, I'm just going to make this transparent because I don't want an overlay. Next, what we'll do is I will change this color to black because we have white on white. And as a designer, guys, you don't want white on white because people can't see the text. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. So for the text here, I'll put new e-commerce experience. You can put anything you want. You can put my new amazing websites. Under the style, I will click on the text color and change this to black. Click on black. There we go. Yeah, black. There we go. And then typography, I want to leave it as Poppins. That's my standard font. Of course, you can choose any font you want, so you can go through these and have fun, and invite your friends over and pick fonts and have a good time. So that looks good to me. Next, we have Sound of the Future. Now, what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and duplicate this. So right-click and click on duplicate. I'll explain why we did that in just a bit. But for this section where it says Sound of the Future, I want to change this to Summer Sale. Wow, I cannot even spell zero. Wow. Okay. And next I want to change this a little bit. So I want to change this to black, right? So for the text color, change this to black. Now I want to use a different font this time because I don't want it to be all the same font that looks really ugly, and you can just tell by the eye this doesn't look good. So under typography, under the family, we're going to type in AG, there it is, Agufina scripts. And I can make this a little bigger, something, and yeah, leave it like that. Yeah, I think the weights will do 600. So you can go ahead and customize and go through these. You can have it like italic or oblique. So there's a lot of different options on how you can design your specific fonts. So we've changed that. Now let's go ahead and go to this one, and I'm just going to type in 50% off. And what I'll do, under the style, typography, text color, black. You guys are getting this? Yeah, so you guys are already becoming professionals, already pros. You guys can like the video and be on your way. I'm just kidding. There's a lot to learn. There is a lot to learn. So the next we'll do is under weight, we'll go to bold. And I want to make this bigger. I want to make it like fat, like really, I want to push it out there. I really want people to know they're getting 50% off. One thing I noticed too, you see this text color? I don't think it's 100% black. No, it's not. There it is. There we go. That looks a lot better. And this text obviously is too hard to read, so I will click on it and change this to black. Right? Change that to black. See, sometimes when I click on it, it doesn't work. So So you have to actually use this. You know, sometimes it happens. You know, that's what you get. You know, so next what we'll do is I want to add in this little divider right here. I think this divider is really cool. Now, that's a specific style I added to my website. You can add any style you want, but let me just show you on how I added that in. So I will go to the, what do you want to call this from the rest of the tutorial? I guess the 9 squares. The 9 squares, I don't know. The elements tab, There we go. And I want to find the divider. I'll take the divider, and you see where it's blue? I'll drop it in. And we have different styles. So we can make this dotted. We can make this curly. We can make this squared. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. That's really cute. Zigzag. So you can kind of see here how there's a lot of different ones on how you can add. So, you know, you can add a different style to your website, and don't think that there's not a reason. There's always a reason and a way on how you can achieve these, you know, these patterns, even though they might look ugly. You know, look at this one. You know, this one, or the parallelogram, I think that's the one I chose, is the, no, I chose slashes. So I chose the actual slashes. And yeah, I mean, right now it looks a little awkward. But, you know, once we actually kind of add to it, we can actually, you know, change the width of it. You can add a text in the middle. So you can put like, hey, what's up? You know, you can kind of customize things and just see what works out, you know, kind of like, you know, just mess around with it. You know, it's all about trial and error. For the style, we can change the weights. So that means it's just thicker. So I think I did actually change the weight of this. So I think the weight that I used was around, let's see. So the weight that I used was around 1, so just leaving it at 1. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's pretty much all I added to it. Now this next section, you notice that there's no way we can add like 2 sections. So let's now add a column in this section. So let's go back to the Elements tab, and we have this intersection. So whenever you want to add more of a more columns in a column, go ahead and drag and drop the Elements tab, or I'm sorry, the intersection. And we have the button, and you know, this button's, it has some work done to it. I don't want to get rid of it. You know, it has some work. So I'll take this pencil, which is taking the elements, and I want to drag it inside of that. So that's that. And also I want to reduce this padding. So see this edit column? Go ahead and click on that. And under the advanced section, or I'm sorry, we have the pencil icon, And under the advanced section, you see how it says padding? Go ahead and change that to 0. So see how it's making space? It's now we're deleting the space. There you go. Sometimes there's padding applied to a specific module, and it's hard to know if it's the actual column or the actual elements, but it's the same result. So you have to just click on both sometimes. So we have the button there. Now let's add in the other text I added here. Now this one's a special pro element. It's not like the free one. So we'll click on the Elements tab, go down to the Pro, and we're gonna find the animated headline. And yeah, so I'm gonna put starting at, and then 199. So for the style, you can have it as rotating or highlighted, and you can change the shape to curly, underline, double zigzag, double underline. You know, I'm sure there's a way on how to use all of these. I use the underline zigzag, so you can kind of go through and mess around with it and see what works out for your websites. Now for the style, we need to change this because it's kind of faded, and we don't want green. You know, green's ugly. You know, it doesn't work out. It has to go. Oh, that's really ugly. It's black. So I want to change this to something like red. You know, because the red, it kind of takes away from the black and white. You know, there's too much damn black and white on this page, but just adding a hint of red here and there throughout the website, it'll make it look a lot better. So yeah, that's that. Now for the headline, for the text color, I'll change this to black. All right. Now for the animated text, I'm gonna change this also to black, but I want to make it a little bit more bold, guys. You know, I want to make it like a voila. You know, I want to make it really kind of stand out there. So for the weight, I want to put it as bold, and I think we can go ahead and do something like uppercase. I'm sorry. Here we'll do Poppins. There we go. There we go. That's what works out. So Poppins bold. So now you see how the price kind of pops out and pushes out at people, and it just looks a little bit more engaging. Now, this doesn't make any sense. Read more? Come on. We're at a shop e-commerce website. This is not a blog. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit this button. So to edit the button, click on the pencil, and under style, or first we'll go to content. So we'll change the text. So what do you want it to say? Shop now, right? and then you can link them to the specific the shop page. So maybe later this will be like yourwebsites.com/shop. So we can put the permalink later. So we don't have the shop page yet, but we'll get there. Trust me, I will not leave you guys hanging. And for the icon, we can add in an icon. So let's say you want to add in, that looks like the Dr. Disrespect icon, doesn't it? I think it does. It looks very close to it. But let's say it's like a call us or something like that. You know, I don't know, whatever you want to do. There's I'm sure there's a check mark here. You can probably search check mark. So you can insert that. And now we have that little icon there, which is really cool. And the icon position, you can have it before or after. And then we have style. So at this point, you kind of know what the styles tab is. The styles tab for every element, it changes the color, topography, and also it adds text shadow and various other things. The advanced tab, it adds margin and padding, and also different things like motion effects, which we'll talk about. I'll talk about that later. That's way too much. But for example, if I want to add space, you can add space. If I want to add space to the other side, you can add space to the other side, etc. So that's exactly what the advanced tab is. So for the style, we have normal, and then we have hover. So I want to change this. I want to change the text color to white. Okay, and I want the background to black. Black. It looks like there's a bug there, right? Someone tell Elementor to fix that, right? So now that we've done that, the hover, I don't want it to be like that. You know, that doesn't look good. In fact, for the hover, I don't even think that we need a hover. So for the background color for hover, I'll just leave it as black. So what that means is that when I hover over it, it's just gonna stay the same. And that's about it. Now we do have hover animation. So we have grow, shrink, and you can kind of go through these and pulse, grow, and we have pop. Ooh, and then we have sync. It's weird. That's a really weird animation, but you can go through these and see which one works out for you. I will just leave it as grow for now. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. But for my websites, I just left it as, you know, chop down. That's pretty much it. And I just have a larger text. So for the topography, I'll make the text a little bigger. And I will make this a bold. And I will also change this to pop-ins. Something like that. So, I mean, it looks pretty similar. So there are some probably few changes I need to make, but overall, it's pretty much the same thing. I did make the button a little bit smaller. So let's go ahead and show you how to make the button a little smaller. So I'll click on the pencil tab, and now you see we have padding. So the padding, we have 45 to the right and 45 to the left. So let's change this to 15. So you can see here how padding equals space. There we go, padding equals space. Remember that, write that down. Padding equals space. And then change this to 15, and then I'll click on updates. And congratulations, you guys now have, you know, you can of course make some changes to this, but you guys now have a landing page that you can work off. So there are some things that probably I might want to do. I might want to make this text a little bigger, but as you're building your website, you can kind of go back and see, how does this look, Daryl? Does this look good? Does this look bad? And don't worry guys, I am an amazing guy, so I will give you this full template a little bit later as we go along, but we'll talk about that, and I'll show you how you can use that template a little bit later. But let's keep going here. Let's keep going, party people. So we have this section. We have women's section, new arrivals, and new men's products. So this section, what we can do is we can link people to specific product categories. So for example, let's say you have men's shirts, you have new arrivals, and then you have the women's section. I'll be showing you how you can link these to each specific product category. But first, we need to create these sections. So let's do that. So we'll scroll down, or I'll open this again. We'll scroll down, and now let's just use the page builder. Let's kind of like, I don't want to rely on templates 100%. Kind of want to teach you a little bit like a strategy here. So under new section, we'll go to the 3 columns. I will click on the elements tab. I will grab the heading, and there you go. So we have a heading, and now we can go ahead and click that again. And you know, this time I can probably grab the text editor, and I'll do it one more time, and then I'll grab the button. The reason I grab them all at once is it kind of helps your eyes understand, okay, so this section, woman's section, this is this, and this is this. It kind of helps you understand the structure of it. So the first thing is I'll put this to the right, and I'll put women's section. And And then I'm not going to link that because there's no reason to link it. For the style, I'll change this to black. And topography, we'll change this to bold, or I'm sorry, to pop-ins. And then text shadow. You know, text shadow, guys, that's like, you know, if you want to have some different like style and different, here, you guys can probably see what this is. So it just adds a little bit of stuff in the back. And I do like text shadow, but not for this specific section. So I'm just going to go back to default. And that section's pretty much done. I do want to make it bold though, however. So for the weight, I'll make it bold. All right, so I think that section is good. And of course, you can go through here and, you know, you guys can go through whatever you want. You can underline it. You know, underline's cool, but, you know, whatever you want to do. And the next section, I'll change this to something. We'll change this text. That's way too much text. I'll put like a, check out the summer deals, right? The summer deals. Style. Now, I know when you're building the website, it looks really bad at first, but you have to make the changes to make it look like good, you know? So don't panic when you're first building it, thinking, oh, it looks terrible. You really have to kind of mess around with it. So change this to black, and then for the topography, we'll do pop-ins. All right, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Check out the summer deals, and maybe just make this bold, right? Actually, no, let's leave it as default, you know? Let's leave it as default. And now one thing I want to note is, you know, guys, I'm a lazy guy. I really am lazy. So we've already made this button here, right? So what's the point of doing that all over again? You know, I'm a lazy guy, so I'm going to go ahead and right click and click on duplicate. This button, I don't need it. You know, it's ugly, it's outdated, didn't make the tryouts. So we're going to go ahead and oops, right click and click on delete. Now I'm going to take this button and just drag it and drop it, and there we go. And then for the alignment, I'll put it to right. So that's pretty much it. Now one thing also is that you know, it doesn't look like the other part of the website, so I need a background image. So I'll click on edit column, style, and then we have background type. We can have gradients, you know, but gradients are really hard to carry throughout the website. Trust me, I've been down that road. It's hard to carry gradients. So for the image, I will select this beautiful girl and click on insert. Now, I do want to kind of adjust this. You know, I want the image to be inside of this, you know, so we have these different options. We have like the position. You can center align this specific image. You can put it wherever you want. But for the actual size, I want it to do cover. So that means I want it inside. You know, I want people to see it. You know, you can change the format. So when you're adding your own images, you have to just do this trial and error, you know, just kind of like see what works, you know, does contain work? Okay, cover. Okay, I want it to be to the top left. Let's see, there we go. Yeah, top left, bottom left, you know, just see what works out. So the position is positioning the image itself. And, you know, it just takes time to just kind of find out what works for your websites. Center left, sometimes it doesn't really even move it that well, so something like that. You guys get the idea. Now I need to change this to something like white, because this just doesn't really look good. So let's change it back to white, and then this one back to white, and there you go. So one thing also is I want to have this women's at the top and section at the bottom on this text. So I'll show you all a quick trick on how to achieve this. So anytime you want the text to go on the next line, you can type in this brackets, BR, and then end brackets. And now we have this section on the bottom. And I'll make this a little bigger. You know, it's too small. So under topography, I'll make this a little bigger, something like that, right there. And that looks actually a lot better, right? So also for the shop now, one thing too is I want to add that red hover. So remember how to do that? So just click on the button, style, hover, background color, and just make it like red. You know, there you go. So now we're kind of carrying that red a little bit more. So one thing also is I want to add just a little bit more space. You know, I think it's too close to the wall right there. See that? So under the, I'll click on the edit column, and under the advanced section, we can just increase this padding a little more. So I want like maybe 30, 15, 30, and 15, just to kind of add a little bit more space so it's not So close to it. Now guys, remember, I'm a lazy guy. You know, I'm a very lazy, so I don't want to do this all over again. That's a lot of work. We just spent, you know, a few minutes doing that. So let's duplicate this section. So I'm gonna right click this column and duplicate and duplicate. And this section, I will delete it, and I will delete this, and there you go. One thing too is that I want to stretch this. You know, this white space sucks. You know, it sucks. So let's add some space. Let's stretch it. You know, let's stretch all this stuff. So edit section, the content width, I want that full width. So now I'm saying I want it to be stretched all the way across, and voila, now we have this beautiful section, which looks very similar to this section. You know, just probably some more padding we could have added, but ultimately it's pretty much the same thing. So there's a lot of women here. You know, we need to add some men. You know, there's too much women, you know, so let's add in some men. So I'll click on this little edit column, style, and under the image I'll put the man. All right, and for this section I will, you know, we have to adjust it, so I'll put something like new arrivals, right? New arrivals, and we can center this, and we can also center this as well, and we can also center this as well. And maybe for each section, instead of shop now, you can put something like shop arrivals, or, you know, shop women, shop men. You can, you know, go change the button, and, you know, whatever works out for you and your little website, you can do that. Now I chose to put the text in the middle because the right is just, it's too much, you know, and also I don't think this really looks good. Now there's a few ways on how we can change this. We can either change the text to black, or we can add in an overlay. So let's add in an overlay. Why the hell? You know, what the hell not? Let's do that. Let's get crazy. So I'll go ahead and click on the edit column, and under the background overlay, we can just add in like a hint of black, just a hint, just to take away from all the white. You know, we need to add just a little bit. So the, let's see here, background type, and under the color, we can add in sort of like a hint like that, you know, just a hint of black, you know, something just to take away from the actual color, you know, being there. So you can, you know, change this to any color to kind of emphasize the text. Or if you want, you can go ahead and just, you know, add in black text. It's really up to you at that point. It's your website. But I'm just giving you a strategy on how you can do that. So I'll go ahead and change this to black. All right, black. And then also we'll do this as black, just to kind of, you know, keep it consistent. And the image, we might need to put this in the middle, or you can adjust the image wherever you want. So remember to adjust the image. We'll click on that. And for the actual background, we can have the position, you know, center left, default, center, and you get the idea. So you can kind of put it anywhere you want. I'll just leave it, you know, for tutorial purposes, I'll just leave it there for now. It's just, it looks standard, you know, it looks okay. Yeah, the text is in the front, but don't worry, I'll give you guys the full template a little bit later with every single detail. Now, also this section, I want to push everything to the left side. You know, it's too to the right. So left, and then style, left, and also left. How beautiful is that? Your first e-commerce website is going to look a hell of a lot better than mine, that's for sure. So let's see, button, content, left, and also for the background image, we will add in this gentleman right here. And I think that looks good. You know what, we gotta change that to something like men's, you know, men's section, right? Men's section. And then you can go ahead and change it. But ultimately, guys, it's a really clever way to, oh, wait, what is that, Daryl? What is that? That is ugly. Make sure you never do what I just did. So ultimately, it's just a clean way to present your products. You can go ahead and mix and match and kind of see what works out for your websites. But I think you guys are getting the point. So next, let's go ahead and add in some beautiful icons. So let's go and add in some image boxes. So I'll click on add new section, and we're gonna add 4 columns this time. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna make one, and then we're just gonna duplicate it across to make things a lot easier for us, because we are lazy and we want to get things done as fast as we can, because everyone in 2020 has a very small attention span because of social media. But anyways, let's go ahead and scroll down, and we will find image box, and I'll drag that in there. So for the image, I've given you guys the images, and I have these little things, a little cute truck for you guys. And this might be something to encourage purchases, something to encourage confidence in people buying your product. So free shipping, that is always something that people like to see. Free shipping, you know. And we want to be honest, so orders over what, 200 bucks, we'll give you guys free shipping, whatever you want to do. We'll talk more about shipping and payment methods and payment gateways and all that stuff towards the end of the video once you guys are e-commerce pros. So for the actual the image position, we can have it as left, right, or top. But I think this is good. You know, I think this is standard. I think this is suitable. But we need to change. Oh yeah, also for the image size, we can change it, but that's up to you. For the style, we can have different spacing, or you can leave it blank, but I'll just add in just like, I don't know, 3 pixels. For the width, you can go ahead and mess around with that, but that makes things a little crazy. We can also add a hover animation, but I think that's just, you know, the less JavaScript, guys, the faster your website will be. So don't go too crazy with the animation because there's more JavaScript. JavaScript for noobs is essentially anything that makes your website flashy. You know, like that is pretty much it. So let's go to content, and what we'll do is we will change, let's see. Yeah, I think that looks good right there, right? But we'll go ahead and change the color. So that color is really ugly. And we want to keep it consistent, right? So we have pop-ins, right? Pop-ins. And I want that to be bold. And then we have the orders over. So next we have the color and have that section. And yeah, I think the typography, I think that looks pretty good. We can go ahead and change the line height to make it look a little bit closer, you know, just a little closer to that because it's too far on default. See, the default is like right there. So we'll leave it like that. I think that looks really sharp. And again, remember guys, we are lazy, so I will right click and I will duplicate the column, duplicate and duplicate. And then I'll delete these empty boxes because we don't need it. So we'll go ahead and delete all of those bad boys. Now, one thing to know just by looking at this is this section obviously needs a lot of space. So you can add padding to the top and also to the bottom. So now you kind of understand where padding comes in. So remember how to add padding. I will click on this section. Remember these little, I guess you want to say light blue, whatever, these control the actual entire row. So I want to make this full width. And under the advanced section, I want to add in like maybe, I don't know, let's try 50, you know, 50 and then 50. So I think that's suitable. You know, I actually think the full width doesn't work. So let's go back and take off the full width. It doesn't work out. It's too stretched and it doesn't look good. So we can just do boxed. I think that looks a lot better, right? Now on my demo website, I did this little quick strategy of, I just added borders to the right side of them just to add some design because it's too much text. So I'll show you how to add borders to pretty much anywhere that you want. So first I will click on the edit column. Under the style, we have border. And on the right side, you see how it says right? I want to add in maybe like 2 pixels of border. And the border type, I want it to be solid. Now it gives us options to design it. So we can have a different color. So I'll just do like a gray color. And you know, that's pretty much it. So you guys can see now how we have that border. It's hard to see because of the actual line. I want the border to be only on the right side. So for the width, I will type in 2 and change it to gray. Now you can't see it really well, but if you actually click away, you can see the line now. So you see how there's a border. So that's just a way on how you can add, you know, just some sort of decor to your website. You know, the small things are the big things. So let's add it again to this one. So again, style, we have the border and we have the border type as solid. And I want to click this and add it to the right. Now remember, you can add it to the left. You can add it also to the top. So you see how there's border everywhere? You can do that. And maybe you can make some abstract design or something like that. So that's just, that's basically what borders are. And, you know, they come in handy and you don't have to use them the way they give it to you. You can, you know, the sky's the limit here. Because if you want to get creative, you want to, you know, you want to drink and then make your website and who knows what you'll make, then that's what happens, you know, like that's how, like Newton, was like Isaac Newton found gravity, an apple hit his head, right? So let's go to this one, go to style, and for the border again, we'll just do it to solid, and then we will do to the right. There we go, great. So that looks a lot cleaner. It just adds a lot of design. And let's see, I think overall it's just nice to have. So you might want to go to each of these and change the image, and then obviously you'll add in whatever you want. Remember, you can add in, you know, quick payment. You know, I just use these for tutorial purposes, but of course you can add in any text you want and use any image that you want. So next, let's add in this section right here that says new arrivals. So you might have noticed earlier how we had this divider and how we can add in text. So I want to carry the design throughout the website. You know, I don't want it to just be some random bar. I kind of want to use that to kind of design my design and add the core to my whole website. So what I'll do is I will go ahead and add a new section. Now I just want one row. That's it, one row. And I will go ahead and click on the Elements tab, and we will find the divider module. So it is, did I pass it? Yep, the divider module. And what I'll do is for the style, we will do the slashes, right? The slasher should be the name, the slasher. And then for the text, I will put in new arrivals. Now, of course, you can add in anything you want. I'm just, you know, just giving you guys some ideas, stuff like that. So for the weight, you can, of course, change the weight of this, and you can make this look however you want. However, all I really want to design here is the, actually, I want to go ahead and reduce the amount of amount we have right here. Something like that is better, I think. I don't know. I'm just picky. You can change the amount of lines you want. For the text, I want to make this a little bigger. And we need to change this to our fabulous Poppins font. So we have bold, and we have the size. So you can change it to whatever you want. I'll change it to 50, and I want this to be black. So ultimately what this does is that it just adds some design, you know, it adds the core, and it also introduces our new section. So it's just something to just kind of, you know, look good and just looks clean. Now, the next thing we're going to do is finally, we are going to add products.